The future of cars seems to be electric. But, of course, the only thing we're worried about is, what does this mean for road trips? Can a Tesla stray outside of its intended area of use and best even the most ill-suited gas car on a road trip? With the help of Advanced Auto Parts, by the end of our 7,000-mile journey across the US and back, we intend to have an answer. In the last decade, the automotive industry has been reshaped by the emergence of a new mainstream reality: electric cars. That revolution has been almost entirely due to the successful release of the Tesla Model S. Several successful Tesla offerings have followed in the subsequent years, but this was the first car that made good on its promise of being a realistic daily driver EV, with a huge infrastructure of charging stations to rival that of gas stations. Blindingly quick, comfortable, sleek, and reasonably attainable for the well-to-do. The Tesla Model S was and still is the perfect around-town car.
But how is a Tesla to take on a road trip? Well, that's what we're going to find out in this video series. I'm taking this 2012 Tesla Model S P85 from here in our home state in Virginia all the way out to the West Coast. Now, we've done this trip plenty of times in rental cars before, and it takes about, 3 days round trip, just nonstop. But obviously, you can't do that with a Tesla because you have to stop to charge it. I'm going to have to stop every 200 to 250 miles to charge this thing. But even with that in mind, it's not going to be too difficult because there's charge stations all across the country between Tesla superchargers and third-party chargers and even RV plugs and camps. I've got all sorts of different adapters to plug this thing into pretty much anything that has electricity. So all in all, it should be a pretty luxurious trip across the country. Shouldn't be too much of an issue. But Ben's car might not be so luxurious. What you got there, Ben?
Evo.
Of course, of course.
Ben, you remember the last road trip I took that Miata?
Yep.
Uncomfortable. Too small, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm going back to my roots. We're road tripping an Evo this time, again. This is a full track car. So this is a 2011 Evo 10 MR, the Mitsubishi Racing spec. So this car was already meant to go fast from the factory, and the owner has completely gutted it, caged it, makes more horsepower. It's got a dual clutch transmission, paddles mounted on the steering wheel. So this car is an absolute rocket on track, and this car is actually street legal in Illinois. It has been inspected and registered and everything. So
I like how you have to throw that caveat.
Well,
in Illinois, where the car's from, it's legal.
Yeah, we'll see. If we go through Illinois, we'll find out if it's actually. But I think that car, despite being caged, despite being stripped, is still more practical on a road trip than your MacBook.
It's definitely less comfortable.
It maybe, yeah. Although, I think that something you're going to learn is a little phenomenon called range anxiety, which is the absolute crushing terror of always being worried that you're going to be on the side of the road running a 500-foot extension cord to the next house.
This is 2020. There's electricity everywhere. There's plugs everywhere. It's totally fine.
We'll see. We'll see. I posit that this is going to be the main thing that slows us down on the road trip.
Not to mention, it's free to drive. Like the kilowatts per hour, it's all free.
How does that work?
Well, supercharging is free on the 2012 Teslas because it's grandfathered in.
Okay, so it is also literally a grandfather that you're driving. This is an ancient
it's
Tesla.
Early Tesla, but Tesla's so cutting edge. They're so ahead of their times.
I've heard
it's still relevant.
I've heard great things about early Tesla build quality.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Very luxurious. $120,000 car. You just can't top it.
Wow. Well, I don't know. I guess there's only one way to find out.
Now, this car, because it is a track car, has a lot of safety features for the track. It's got a cage, it's got a bucket seat, it's got 6-point harnesses. Here's the thing, those are safe on the track, but not necessarily super safe on the street, because in the event of an accident, your head could hit the cage. Cages aren't supposed to be in street cars, and that could seriously damage your head. Also, 5-point harness, while it's going to keep your body in place really well, your neck is not going to be secured. That's why people wear a helmet and Hans device. And because I am a good steward of the internet and have impressionable young viewers, I will try to do the same. But I'm going to tell you right now, this is for entertainment, and this is not recommended.
With both the Tesla and Evo packed, and our trusty cameraman Casey along for the ride,
That's me.
we were ready to go. Our trip begins with a dreary drive northwest out of Virginia, which gave both Ben and I time to get to know our cars.
This car was built by a man named Bartek. Built this as a track car that he could drive from his house to the track. It's a very serious build. It has these paddles relocated onto the wheel so that you're constantly able to shift when your hands are at 9 and 3. It has Öhlins road and track suspension, coilovers all the way around, gauges everywhere to monitor everything. You can monitor your trans temp because that's very important on these SSTs. Honestly, it would be absolutely astonishing on track. The only problem is that we're not on track right now because this setup is not extremely comfortable in the long term.
So in 2012, Tesla decided supercharging should be free, but that's no longer the case. It costs money to supercharge. Generally, I think it's like $20 to get a full charge on a battery. But because this Tesla is a 2012, it's grandfathered in and has free supercharging still, because they said it was and always will be free. And I quote Elon Musk. So this car is still free to supercharge, which means if I go to supercharging stations all across the country, it won't cost me a penny to get across the country. Meanwhile, in the Evo, you're gonna have to be filling up. It's gonna be $25-30 every time you fill it up. Gas is really cheap right now, but that's still gonna be thousands of dollars to do this road trip.
The thing that Ben doesn't understand is that time is money. So sure, maybe he's paying $0 for the electricity he's getting from these superchargers, but I would be able to get across the country in 2-3 days in this car easily, just driving, right? Impossible in that car. He's gonna have to stop and wait an hour to charge each time, wasting daylight, and he's gonna be tired by the end of the day. So if we're talking about practicality, being able to make it to your destination on time is way more important than all of his frou-frou amenities and what have you.
Ben is just itching to go fast. Yeah, Ben, keep downshifting, keep using that gas.
Ah, crap, you're right.
Since this Tesla is from 2012, it's 8 years old, I realize the technology is not the best. It is still cutting edge, but the new Teslas are way better. The range on the new Teslas are like 400 miles or something like that. This car will only do 250 miles, absolutely from 100% to 0, which you never really want to do with a Tesla because if you run out, you have to get towed. It's not like you can go and get a gas can to refill this thing up. And standard outlet plugs take 6 hours to get 27 miles of charge, so it's not very practical, especially if you're stuck on the side of a road. So I don't want to push this as much as I can help it. I do not want to use all 250 miles of that range. Right now it says that we're going to get to our next supercharging station destination with 6% battery left, and we left with 98%. That's cutting it close, because if I use more throttle than I'm supposed to, I can use more electricity and run out before I get to that charging station. So I'm taking it easy. I'm regenerating as much power as I can going downhill. The car keeps telling me to keep it under 65 miles an hour because that helps the range. So that's what we're doing.
One thing real quick, Ben, I couldn't help but notice it is a 65 zone through here, and it looks like you're doing about 58 miles an hour going downhill. Any reason for that?
Yeah, I like to observe the speed limit. They call it a limit because you're not supposed to go over it. So I'm giving it an extra 6 miles an hour, just about 59 with a good speed.
Yeah, I just can't help but notice that we're getting passed by literally everyone.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Fine, they can take the ticket. Yeah, I'm just respecting the law. Yeah, man, he's using all that fuel. My car is meanwhile telling me to stay below 70 miles an hour.
Ben, that is what a real car sounds like.
Wow, that's real interesting. How much fuel did you use on that pull?
100 miles into the trip, I was settling in nicely to my Tesla. It was plush, intuitive, and best of all, quiet.
Oh my God, I'm so hot. I'm getting so hot. Ugh. Ugh. Oh God.
How's that AC going in there?
Well, so I actually didn't have the AC going at all. Let me just show you that real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll just put it on low for right now, because you know, obviously the door's gutted, so we don't have controls per se. But you know, I mean that's more than enough. It stopped raining, so should be safe.
Yeah. Okay.
If I want a little more, I might even do the passenger side. So should be lap of luxury. Just
So it's not even power window. It's not even crank window.
yeah, I mean, but who needs it, right? Like crank is kind of excessive.
By the time we reached the first charging station of the trip, the Evo was running mighty low on E85, but still had more range left than the Tesla.
We've made it to our first supercharger. These work very simply. There's a button on it. You press the button, and the little door opens up, and good to go. That light will turn green. It'll charge up half the charge in like 20-25 minutes. It's the full charge that takes a while because it kind of slows down as it gets going. It's charging right now at, it's still going, it's speeding up. 116 kilowatt hour, wow, that's crazy. 398 miles an hour is how fast it's charging. So I'm getting 398 miles in 1 hour of charge. That'll obviously slow down as it gets more towards full, but it's at 7% right now.
7%.
7%, so I could have kept going. It's 7% more juice. But why not take use of the superchargers? It's free.
I mean, we're here.
While we're in town. What's your fuel level looking like on there?
Great, honestly.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I want to pull around and get some E85?
I'm thinking about it. I might go over there, get some fuel, but honestly, I'm good.
I don't even know where the fuel level is on your car, so I can't even peek. I have no idea what it's at. It's on red, isn't it?
There's no red.
Oh, it's just died.
That gauge doesn't actually have red on it.
The Evo may have edged out the Tesla on range, but Ben wasn't exactly good to go.
What game are you playing there, Ben?
Need for Speed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It did get a slight check engine light. A slight check engine light on the drive over here.
Is there such a thing as a slight check engine light?
It was a mild one.
Oh, is it like a cylinder misfire?
It was a cylinder misfire,
Oh,
I think.
are you serious?
Yeah.
No!
No, it's okay. That's kind of normal.
Oh, man. Well, see, having owned Subarus, that means ringland failure.
Oh, no.
That's a death sentence.
Oh, yeah, I don't think that these suffer from that so much, but I am just going to check the code. Probably nothing, just routine.
Spark plug change, maybe.
No.
For that combustion that you got to deal with.
No. Just routine thing. I'll just clear that and we'll be right back on our way. Honestly,
That doesn't fix the problem then.
well, it's a minor thing. But how about this? Let's see if I can
Fix the car?
if I can fix the car in the time it takes for you to charge up.
I could not. Texting Bartek, the owner of the Evo, he let me know that the misfire code was indeed a routine gremlin that had been popping up, and he told me to clear the code and just keep driving. But between getting gas, texting him, and trying to download version updates for the old school tuning software, Ben and his Tesla were able to turn the tables on me after enjoying a leisurely charging break.
With our range measuring contest out of the way, I could begin following more efficient driving habits for the Tesla. Rather than trying to get a full charge and drive the longest distance possible, the Tesla would only need to be charged enough to reach the next charging station that we wanted to stop at, usually one about 150 miles away. This meant charge times could be reduced to 20 or 30 minutes, usually finishing the charge around 80%. Now deep into West Virginia, everything was going well. We were on track to arrive at our hotel soon. a successful first day of road tripping. But of course, it wouldn't be a road trip without a few mishaps.
So it is day one still. It's almost 10 p.m. We're in West Virginia, and we have just had our first significant incident. The car has 21-inch wheels, which are actually a standard size for some Teslas, but it's very, very low profile tires, and we just went over some rough road, and now Ben has a flat on the Tesla.
The risk with a low-profile tire is that it might allow the wheel to crack or the tire to debead. Rich, the owner of the Tesla, had the wheels and tires on for aesthetic purposes, and they worked fine for him daily driving around town. But on a road trip, you really can't afford to have a failure like this.
I have no idea what happened. This thing was fine. I don't see any cracks. I don't see it bend.
And things got worse.
That is confirmed not the correct one. It has to be this one.
How would the lug pattern be different?
The spare wheel we had for the Tesla was actually for a Tesla Model 3, which has a different lug pattern than the Model S.
Not looking good.
Which meant the Tesla was inoperable on a West Virginia back road, and our only vehicle was a fully caged track car. So, with the damaged wheel and tire in the trunk of the Evo, we made our way across the Ohio state line to our hotel for the night, and resolved to deal with it in the morning. The next morning, after visiting a number of tire shops in the area, we found ourselves back in the Evo. No one was willing to work on such a low-profile tire setup, so we had to come up with a backup plan.
We are now driving 2.5 hours away to pick up some wheels that we found on Facebook Marketplace, some stock wheels.
Craigslist.
Oh, was it Craigslist? Have some 19s to roll on for the rest of the trip. We'll have to figure out somewhere to put the 21s, but right now we get to drive for 2.5 hours there and 2.5 hours back in the Evo together. 5 hours just to pick up some wheels.
Who would have thought that the Evo would be playing the support vehicle to the Tesla?
It is odd.
So we are rushing further into Ohio to pick up a spare set of wheels for this Tesla. And luckily, we have a gas car. So we had to stop and refuel, and it only took us 2 minutes. Would have taken a lot longer than the EV.
Unfortunately, my gas car had its own set of drawbacks. With no HVAC system, fog was a major problem, and as I found out, due to the removal of unnecessary plastics, the car wasn't 100% watertight in the rain. This prompted our first advanced auto stop of the trip, where I picked up Rain-X anti-fog and a roll of glass towels to help alleviate some of our visibility problems. With that impairment solved, we met our Craigslist seller in Cincinnati, and with a full set of stock Tesla Model S wheels, we began our return to the scene of the crime.
So these are the wheels that we got. They are some 19 inches. I think they're technically winter wheels. I think that's how they sell them, or they market them as winter wheels, but they've got not winter tires. I think these are all-season tires on them. They're Goodyears. They're a lot skinnier than what's on the car, which is going to help my range. So I might actually be able to go even further without needing to stop to charge, which is pretty cool. They have the correct diameter, tons of tread on them. The sidewall is a 45. That's almost double the sidewall that's currently on the car. So I mean, this thing's basically going to be a truck now. I can just go right over those potholes, won't have any issues. What's your sidewall at here? Also 45? Okay, well, you know, so we're both fine. That's good. Whew.
The Tesla was back in action. Driving through Ohio and into Michigan, we left the busted wheels and tires with a buddy of ours from the racing scene and got back on the road. So now that I have factory tires on this car, it drives a little bit more like I feel like a Tesla should drive like. It's very smooth, very soft. The car is on air suspension, so it already glides over everything. There is one drawback, and that is the steering wheel. Steering inputs have gotten kind of dull, but I think that's a worthy trade-off for an even more comfortable ride. This is more comfortable than my couch.
Yes, it's loud. Yes, it can be uncomfortable. Maybe it takes on a bit of water when it rains. But this car hasn't skipped a beat. All trip, all 2 days so far, this car has been a trooper. Don't let me hear anything about EVs being the future. Gasoline, here.
So, how you like the new wheels and tires?
Dude, they are so comfortable. Like, it's amazing what some sidewall does. This thing is riding on a couch.
Glad you like them. You're gonna love them at the next place we go to.
Yeah? Where are we going? Really, Ben? A racetrack? I think you sabotaged me. I think you punctured my tires so that I'd have these all seasons on.
I do not feel the need to sabotage this car when it comes to the track. You have the perfect car for driving on the street, but this still drives on the street, and now it's in the prime location to do what it's meant to do.
The Tesla goes really well on the track as well. The battery is on the floor of the car. There's no weight up high. It's all low center of gravity. 470 horsepower. How much does yours have again?
It's not as much as that. 430, 420, something like that.
Doesn't matter that I have all-season tires. It's still faster.
Wow, bold claim. Tell you what, I'll give you a 5-second head start on a lap. I bet I can reel you in by the end of it.
You'll never see me. Oh man, what a weird experience to not have to shift on track. It's hard to know how fast I'm going, honestly, without hearing anything and not having any gear shifts. Oh man, this is weird. Woo! It probably looks like nothing's happening from the in-car because the car is so quiet, but I'm giving it all I got. I got no brakes. I got no brakes. I already smell the brakes. Tires are squealing, but I got power.
Oh my God, this thing is so fast. On the street, you can tell it has potential, but now it is in its element. I feel like a GT3 driver. Keep your hands on the wheel. Downshift. Chuck it in. On power.
Ben versus Ben, Tesla versus Evo. Time to find out which car is the faster car. Ben has been putting up with just a ridiculous lack of comfort, probably just for today, just so he could go out on track with me and see what his car does. We'll see which car is faster. I definitely have more horsepower, but it is a significantly heavier car. All right, here we go, on to our flyer lap. Coming in hot, oh wiggly. Woo, let's go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
He clearly is giving me a 5-second lead. He's gonna regret that, because he'll never catch up to me. Woo! Tell you what, this car is making a good drift car.
I'm going nowhere.
All right, Ben has reeled me in. I am like skating on little hockey pucks. My word, these tires are so hard. Oh, Ben is right on me. All right, he wins, I concede. Oh man. has no grip. It's also got no power. I just noticed the power is cut to half. So I'm only making 230 horsepower right now. So that's not cool. Dude, I almost had you.
At no point did you almost have me. I caught you by turn 2.
Well, yeah, if this thing didn't overheat, you would have been a memory in my rearview mirror.
I will say, though not fast even remotely, this car is very fun to follow on track.
Yeah, dude, it's really well balanced. Like, it's a perfect 50-50, and with the electric motors, throttle control is so easy.
I think that changing to these extremely hard tires actually helped you have more fun than you would have on the 300 treadwears.
I mean, if I had softer tires, I would have beaten you, but you know what? These are more fun for sure.
Yeah, sure, sure. Dude, this thing's a rocket on track. The SST is good on the street, like very convenient. On the track, you feel like you're driving a GT3 car.
When you passed me on the street, I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty jealous of the sound coming out of that.
It makes good sounds. It carries speed immensely. Yeah, I mean, this is a track car that just happens to be extremely good at hauling Tesla wheels and tires.
You know, yeah, I'll still take this car any day. It was a blast to drive, and it is way more comfortable on the road.
So what you're telling me is you would rather track this car than this car?
I would rather take this car to the track that's far away.
Okay, fair enough. Unfortunately, I do think we need to chalk another point up for the Evos. It's been more reliable and it's faster on track, so.
But at what cost?
The cost, my bones.
It's not a cost I want to take.
It's worth it to be you, I guess.
Well, there's still 5,000 miles to go on this trip, so we'll see.
Why'd you have to put it that way?
How's the Evo treating you? It looks kind of bouncy.
Yeah, dude, honestly, I'm dying. My bones are grinding into a fine powder.
Thank you.
By day 5, the punishment of the Evo had begun to take its toll on me. Both my mind and body were feeling the effects of the constant beating.
So we've been on the road for about 1,600 miles now, and honestly, the Tesla has been great. It is super comfortable sitting in here, more comfortable than a gas car because it's so quiet. But also, this car is on air suspension, and with the 45 sidewall tires, it's just so comfortable. Yes, you do have to stop a lot, but the Tesla superchargers are very fast. If we didn't have Tesla superchargers, this would be a totally different trip. But the infrastructure from all these superchargers is all over the place. It's honestly been absolutely perfect.
But Ben was not doing as well.
Ben, are you okay? Ben. Hello? Hey, anything going on in there? Hello? What the heck? Hey man, a couple more 1,000 miles. You got this. It's like 4,000 miles. Come on. Did you walk out to this field just to lay down? What the heck?